inside a well, life can get tangled. Might the money. Might the money. Might the money. I'm making money, Mike the.
This podcast or broadcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, health, tax, or professional advice. Always consult a licensed professional for specific advice related to your situation. Thank you.
All right, we good.
Welcome back to Mike the Money radio show and podcast. Here with your weekly episode talking about crime and its impact on business. So let's kind of dive into a few interesting things that are even going on here locally in the city of Memphis. So have you or someone you know ever dealt with theft or fraud concerning your business? You just said the people were stealing.
I was just about to say,
Well, before you talking about people breaking your window and stealing everything you have in your store, you need to start looking at the people who are actually in your business stealing from you every day, all day.
Internally, okay. Gotcha.
If you're an absentee owner, you are probably being stolen from every day.
This is fair.
Educate the ignorance. What is an absentee owner? Like, what is that? I don't know what that is.
He's basically saying when you are somebody who owns the business and you have hired people to work for you, but you never actually present yourself, like you're never actually present to know what's going on in your business, your daily operations, you're putting your sole trust in the people that are there and you just never show up. You don't know what's going on and what's happening.
That's not a very good leader, is it? Or a good business owner.
Not.
You got to at least check in once or twice a month.
Even when I worked at McDonald's, they used to fire them shift managers and sometimes some general managers all the time because the money came up short. Because, you have to think about it. And even if you're a small business, it's just you and somebody else and they control your invoicing. When people start understanding how much money you generate, it makes them feel like they'll do a piece of it.
I ain't gonna lie. I got the story. It's real short though.
Go ahead.
When I first started working, I was 16. This lady, she was like, 40. She had kids and everything. Her name was Erica, working at Burger King on Poplar. She used to try to dupe every single one of the high school students talking about our drawers were short. So she got me twice. She was like, hey, your drawer is $40 short. I paid $40 back. So I was like, oh, my baby miscounted. I'm stupid. It's okay. I was stupid. And then she did, it happened again. So my daddy that time, my daddy picked me up from work and he was just like, what you doing? I said, I'm going to get the money back because she said my drawer is short. And I'm innocent. I'm trying to, my daddy went up in there and cursed that lady out so bad. Bro, he was literally about to hurt her. He was just like, oh, because you, bro. And she ended up getting fired the next day. But still, you really got people that's like that. That commit theft and fraud, not just to the employees, but will do it to the business too. Because you can only imagine how much money she was stealing from the actual store.
Yeah. Welcome back to Mike the Money radio show and podcast. We're here with your weekly episode talking about crime and its impact on business. So would you like to continue your rebuttal?
Don't look at me.
Okay. So this is what happened to me personally. Okay. I was working for a CPA. I had lowered my salary to bring on an employee that was working for me. And the CPA called me in and said, your employee is stealing from you and he's stealing from me. And I said, what? He said, yes. Okay. So I found out this joker was coming in 5 or 10 minutes before I did. But he claimed on his time card he came in there hours before I did.
Came in how many hours?
Hours before I did. So I would get there sometimes about 10 or 11 o'clock because I stayed there till 3 o'clock in the morning doing work. And I was back there and he was claiming he was getting overtime. And this joker wasn't getting 40 hours.
I knew somebody hurt you.
No, but I say that because
no, you're right though.
Once you have that experience as a business owner, it makes you more passionate about theft and you understand theft in your business better. Everybody's concerned about the external stuff, but it's the internal stuff that's messing up your cash flow, that's tearing up your profitability, that's making you lose money.
Okay, so with that being said, How do theft and fraud affect business pricing and profit margins? Can you go deeper into that? Because a lot of people, first of all, a lot of people don't even understand what real profit is. So you might have to break that down, Mr. Sir. And some also people are not aware of what profit margins are. So when you talk about this, share this with the people and then tell them they can book a consultation with you.
Oh, and also go into how numbers tell a story, because we say that all the time on my project. That is so true.
It's very true.
You got
Okay.
all the answers.
But if you're
to
not tracking your numbers, you won't know that. So yeah.
Okay, so profit margin is the percentage that you would like to make when you sell something or do a service.
Okay.
Okay, profitability, the actual profit, will vary, depends on the cost that you put against that.
Okay.
Okay, what happens is if I have someone stealing time, my profit margin goes down and my profitability may be zero because that person has spent so much time, stole so much time from me, they actually didn't do the work. Or if it's supposed to took them 4 hours to do this job and now they getting overtime. Not only are they getting twice as much as they should get paid, now they're getting bonus money.
Okay.
And so that kills your profitability and that destroys your profit margin. When you do an estimate, you put in the 6%, the 10%, the 50%, wherever the profit margin is supposed to be, but you don't manage that. A lot of people lose money on the management of the profit margin. If my food cost is supposed to be this amount and it's double that, someone's stealing my food. I taking my money out my register.
So if I eat with, like, I used to work in fast food and I used to eat up all the burgers. So that means I was stealing from the company. That means their fuel cost double. So that's basically what you're saying. Hey, don't let. I'm for real. I'm dead serious. Like, was I a thief when I was eating that food and I wasn't paying for it? And they stuff doubled and tripled.
Yeah, because
But they never said nothing. So that's their fault.
They pay for
okay.
stock.
Okay, so this is what happens.
I'm done.
I was so mad at the third shift at McDonald's because
hungry.
I was told to watch the food bin. And the people in the drive-thru was selling special Sundays all night. And then all of a sudden they said, we holding on 2 Big Macs. The manager come yelling at me. I'm telling the manager they selling Sundays all night.
Those up there
How's
eating.
Big Macs missing?
They eat it.
This went on and on and on. And then finally, after I started working at McDonald's, I met someone. They told me, yes, we was hustling in the drive-thru. Somebody needed cab money. So they would ring up a special Sunday, but then they would pocket the difference
They be like that.
between the food costs and what they would actually charge.
Yeah.
The report should have said, hey, I'm selling nothing but Sundays in the middle of the night. But why my food costs up? Because Sundays don't cost that much.
That's a really good example, actually.
Right.
Like, that's really fun.
It be
People
like
don't
that,
read
though.
the reports.
Yeah, it be like that.
That's really
Especially
Do
the
they
big
not
ones.
read them or do they not know how to understand them?
You can't, hey, it's simple. How are you, McDonald's, selling 50 Sundays in an hour?
I'm just saying.
You know, it's
And your,
That's why
your
the ice
food
cream
cost is
machine
up.
be broke all the time.
No, the ice cream machine don't be
my
broke.
brother told me that it don't be broke. They
It
just
don't
don't
be
be
broke.
wanting to clean it.
That's a weak management there.
I know.
And don't talk about McDonald's. They go, look, let's not talk about people, but you know, yeah, they don't be wanting to clean about it.
It's funny.
But you actually talked through our whole segment, so I'm glad you're very passionate about the Sundays and the drive-thru. We're gonna move on to our next segment. First segment, we're gonna be talking about, obviously, it's the emotional side of business, and we're gonna talk about stress, overwhelm, and CEO guilt. So, how does stress, overwhelm, and CEO guilt affect human performance?
So, if the body is stressed out,
Right,
you can't think,
right.
you can't speak, you can't perform. Simple as that. If you are overwhelmed, you can't gather your thoughts. You can't articulate. You can't sell yourself. The body does not perform.
Right.
Okay? CEO guilt being poor delegation. So if you are doing everything and not delegating anything, okay, you're going to be frozen in performing because you're going to get overwhelmed and stressed from having to do everything and wear all the hats. So you either need to do one or two things. Either you need to build systems into your business to help support you as a solopreneur, or you need to be able to go ahead and hire and start to build your team and your company culture.
Okay, I got you. So business strategist. So how does stress affect decisions you make business strategist wise. Did I say that right? Hey.
Well, you got to understand what is the focus of the stress. Okay, is it something that you're doing that you feel uncomfortable with,
Okay.
but you're forced to do? Or is it something that you're doing because, like she said, you didn't delegate it, or you did delegate it and the person that you delegated to has sent it back to you because they didn't handle the assignment well? Where then that conversation may turn into, I need to let you go. A lot of people cannot let people go. To be honest, one of the things that Forbes said that messes up a lot of businesses is people have a lot of people on the payroll more for company and companionship than for performance. So, and that would bring a stress on you because you're paying someone a salary, but they're not doing a job. They just your friend on the job.
Does that lead into CEO guilt then? Like, does that lead into that topic?
Well, I'd be guilty if I losing my money and I'm had to do the work myself. Because when you hire people to do a job, they should do the job.
But if they keep your mental well-being up, is it worth keeping them around?
No, they just giving you companionship at work.
So you saying, hey, fire them and y'all still be friends after work? Then you losing the friend. Then you overwhelmed because you stressed out because you fired your friend, and that's the person that was keeping you on the job, right? I mean, keeping you stable on the
Now,
job.
if I fire them and get somebody to do the job, I'm not stressed. And I don't need a companion. I can get home early and I can do my regular life. I can have work-life balance.
So you saying forget them folks. I don't care about their mental well-being. I ain't caring about, they'll call you and say they livelihood messed up. But no, if it's gonna be the right decision, let them go. And to push your business forward, you say just do it because that's the right decision.
Entrepreneurship is an investment.
Right.
And a lot of people lose focus of that. My money's on the line. I owe people if I borrow money to do this. So am I supposed to care more about somebody's feelings? Or am I supposed to care about the fact that I got to pay payroll? And part of this payroll is somebody who didn't work.
Welcome back to Mic'd Up Money, where we're talking about the emotional side of business. And the next topic we're going to talk about is trauma, triggers, and business decisions. So how does trauma affect a entrepreneur or CEO or whatever you may be in the workplace? How does unresolved trauma affect it? Or can trauma be a good thing?
Can trauma be a good thing?
It can be, right? Push you to do better and stuff. Maybe.
She hesitating, so let me answer this.
So my thing,
Let us do
my
it.
thing is going back to like what I said when I was describing about how my old mentor had the business model. That ain't for me. Gonna shut my whole nervous system down. I don't want to deal with all them people like that, right? But whatever you do so choose to have as your business model and direction, you do have to learn emotional regulation. This is very true. Because traumas are going to come up.
Right.
Triggers are going to come up. Even when you feel like you have done most of the healing, you don't know you're not healed until the next trigger comes up. Right. So you have to learn how to emotionally regulate. This also goes into people who may deal with trauma that may be related to like imposter syndrome.
Okay.
So I like to tell people that imposter syndrome is something that never really goes away. But you do learn how to manage it better. You have to learn how to manage it better, especially if you're going to be a CEO, a business professional, or a business owner, because it's not going to go away. So you have to figure out how to learn how to do emotional regulation activities. What does that look like? Some form of grounding, some form of breathing. Maybe it's counting. It sounds silly. It sounds silly until you have to do it, right? Maybe it's, let me step away for a second and think about this before I respond. That is a response. That is a legit response. That is okay. Is every situation going to warrant that? No. So you need to have different strategies that can help you with your emotional regulation, because you may be in a high stakes meeting and you may not be able to do that, right? So can I count real quick? Cool. Can I breathe real quick? Cool. That might be the best use of that tool in that situation. That's what I think about it.
Yeah, and I think when I was in therapy, I recommend that to everybody, anybody, because it totally helps. One of the things that my therapist recommended, because my emotions have been everywhere since I've been pregnant, it's like she's like, okay, you need to recognize your thought patterns on the front end. So like, okay, this is an emotion, this is a big emotion, anger, for example. What is that stemming from? Like she basically saying, ask yourself questions as you go to see what the root problem is, and when you identify what it actually is, don't put it into this big broad bucket of anger. You can put it into, oh, you're actually just stressed right now and you're tired, you know what I mean? So I that's what I find myself doing. Like if I'm sitting in front of somebody and they're making me mad and it's my boss or something, if I'm starting to feel a certain emotion, I'm like, while they're talking, I'm listening. Maybe not actively, I'm listening, but I'm starting to think in my head, okay, so this is here, this is where this coming, okay, this is what this is, Jasmine. This is how you can respond now. And I have a boss that's also my mentor. He allows me to open up and express myself, which a lot of people don't. But, hey, this is what I'm feeling right now. I might not be able to respond the way you need me to. Give me about 2 or 3 minutes. I'll come back and let you know. So
That's legit.
I totally feel. Oh yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. You wanted to interject earlier, so come on.
Okay, so we had an earlier episode program when I talking about when you have a business failure, you have to go back and dissect what happened,
Right.
and you have to find out were you the source of the problem or was somebody else.
Right.
And it's if it's you, you can fix you. But if it was caused by somebody else, you say somebody embezzled your money, and now you have trust issues with in your business. Okay, is it founded? You have to ask that question. What could you have done differently? Okay, once you start dissecting the problem and finding out the origin of the problem, whether it's internal or external, it will help you to come up with systems and processes that can help you to get that thing clarified and resolved, so it doesn't cause you that much trauma.
So in your
Yeah. Welcome back to Mic'd Up Money radio show and podcast. We are here with your weekly episode discussing business clarity, talking about reworking what's not working. So let's go ahead and dive into it for this week. Let's talk a little bit about where are we actually going. What are your top 3 goals for the next 12 months?
When someone talks about the top 3 goals, you got to have some type of matrix, because the thing about it is you got to be thinking about business impact. It's the thing that you want to see. What thing could you do that will increase your business by 10x, 20x, 100x, or maybe 5x? So you have to find out that what's that key matrix. And then you have to also find your points of failure in your execution. Because sometimes we have a business model, but then sometimes something breaks down in the process of you trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Anything you want to say about efficiency expert?
For the next 12 months, I plan to make money. We're at the end of 2025, right? So 2026, I just plan to get more clients and make money. Not sure what else I'm supposed to say on that question, but yeah.
No, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, I feel the same way, too. I know you gotta, the more specific you are, the easier to target the goal, to actually see the goal, the more specific you are. But in pretty simple terms, yes, just make more money.
Get more clients, make more money,
More clients, more money, more opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, guess what?
What?
I have a tube.
Are you going to tell people what's in the tube?
Yeah, I'm going to tell people what's in the tube. Okay, so you take a business goal, you take a big business goal, and then you judge it on 2 factors, the impact and the outcome. Okay, and then it's going to touch on the execution areas. What do you need to look to make it happen? And then it has a execution task by area, what you need to do. And then it breaks it down to another step. You got a benchmark timeline. So each month you had something that you need to do to make it happen. And then you got a weekly execution, so you can make sure that you are staying on track every week.
Okay.
And then you got some metrics and benchmarks. So if you say I want to make more money, you have to define how much more money you want to make. And then you have to define in the area you want to make it in. And so this tool will help you to get that goal, turn that thing from what you want to do into a actual thing that can happen.
I feel like with that tool, I'm going to need an assistant because I'm lazy and I'm not going to sit down and fill out all the paperwork. Just being honest. So yeah, if you want to be an assistant to me, go to my page and book consultation. No, I'm kidding. But no, I feel like I think that's a good tool you can use. It's a lot more detailed probably than what I would go. But yeah, I feel like this is a good tool. So where can they find it?
Well, we're going to make it real easy. When you go to our website, miketheumoney.com, we're going to have it on the first page, get free tool. And so it's going to take you to the link where you can register your information, and then we will send you the free tool.
Mic'd Up Money. On this episode today, we're going to be talking about getting unstuck. Why are we stuck in business? All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the stuck feeling from fear, confusion, or lack of direction. Which way are we feeling stuck? From confusion, lack of direction, or from fear? What do y'all think?
In my experience, I'm gonna say it's mostly from fear. Mm-hmm. People like to deem it as confusion, but people are not as confused as they think they are. Mm. So I'm gonna say fear.
Fear. So is it the fear? So is it kind of like an imposter syndrome? Do you think that's what the fear is?
Well, I do think people are confused.
Oh, okay.
Well, why do you think they're confused?
Because they don't know what they're doing.
Is that confusion or ignorance?
Well, it can be both. Because you start off with a business model. Mm-hmm. Just like Jasmine tells us all the time. Mm-hmm. You need to define this. Because people may not know what you're talking about.
Right.
And sometimes people get in over their head and they don't know how business actually works. Mm-hmm. And we float these terms around and business model. They don't know what a business model is. We talk about profitability. They don't know what profitability is. Mm-hmm. But they hear those words and they are confused because A, they don't know where to go find information so they can understand it in detail. Mm-hmm. And B, they're ashamed to ask people, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. And C, in the moment, it may not be what they think they need.
I think that's leaning more towards ignorance and stupidity. Because if you know you don't know something, why not go look for it? And if you feel like you don't know where it's at, find a show like Mic'd Up Money, go on Google, go on ChatGPT, go on Gemini, and ask the questions. You know what I mean? That's just what I think.
I have CEO on my card, and I am the CEO. I'm not going to tell you I don't know how to be a CEO.
Well, that's pride.
That's self-sabotage.
Yeah.
And pride.
No, I know what I want to do. I just don't know how to do it.
That's ignorant.
Yeah. Because I don't think that's confusion. I just, like she said, it's pride and it's self-sabotaging. Because if you know you don't know something, go seek the knowledge to go do it, or you going to forever be the CEO by yourself not knowing how to do it. Welcome back to Mic'd Up Money, where we are talking about getting unstuck and why am I stuck. And we were just left off with some words of wisdom by Tanika, and we are going to hear from our, what are you, the strategist?
Yes,
that's what the business strategist. I had strategist right inside the business. Let's hear what you have to say because I was interested.
Well, that's the reason that they have human resources, and part of it is development. Mm-hmm. Is development, and part of it is also EAP. Mm-hmm. Okay, because one side of the positive side is you got to develop your people and give people the leadership skills, give people the confidence they need to be leaders. Then the other part of it is EAP is you got to deal with people when they have performance issues to make sure the personal side is not overwhelming and overflowing into the workplace. Mm-hmm. But entrepreneurs, since they're so small, they don't invest in that. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, you could have had Johnny. Johnny could have been the best employee. You could have had Susie. She could have been the best employee. But all of a sudden, she's off. She's off. Or he's off. You don't have EAP. So what do? You either put up with it.
I was like, bring in outside help, right? That's what you're saying.
Well, you can book you because you making yourself available now. But unless they know about you, they just suffer with that for a while.
They booked me to create their corporate wellness program for their small to medium sized business, so they don't have to deal with that.
Okay.
Because
That's good, yeah.
large corporations have the EAP programs and stuff like that. But what I was saying no to was HR is not there to be your friend. They're there to be investigators and have strategy. Now, do they have resources for that? Yes. But a lot of people are not going to go to HR and say, hey, I'm having money issues, or something happened with my wife, or she lost her job and now things are tight at home and now I don't make enough. Like, they're not going to go to them and say that, because ultimately they don't care. But they know that the response is not going to be the response that they necessarily looking for.
I was just gonna say it really depends on the company.
It does depend on the company.
Because my role, baby, I am HR, I am EAP, I am all of the above. I have to wear like at least 10 different hats. I also do financials. And it all just falls under business, because you have in certain industries, you have a side where it's just straight up, for my industry, straight up construction. Then you have the HR side of things, you have business. All that fall under one bucket. I reach out to my HR manager, hey, I'll handle it. Oh, okay.
And that's,
You know
that's
what I'm
good
saying?
that you could do that. But there's a lot of companies that people can't do that.
It's not intertwined.
And being able to go to my HR person and say, hey, I need EAP help is almost embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's like taboo.
Well, the HR company, they deal with training development and they deal with EAP.
Yes, they do.
And they try to make the EAP confidential, so nobody but HR and them know that you're getting it, because HR has to approve your time off.
Right.
Okay. And training development, you step up and say, hey, I want to go to the next level. Can you train me to be a leader? And then they put you in the training development classes. But training development is pretty much based upon what you want to do. Unless you have a leader that says, I want to advance you. So you now have to go to training development so you go to the next level. But you don't have that as an entrepreneur.
As a small business,
Yeah.
you got to get it set up, like she said. You got to,
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why you have to tell people these services you're offering, so they can have an EAP, so that you can listen to all these problems.
Dang, I think that's so cool that you can go in there and set up stuff like that, because baby, I'd be like, yeah, so I actually work on the digital side of things. That's the first thing I do. And that's why it's so cool to have different perspectives on this show, because you have someone that works, like you said, you go in there, you create programs, you set up things for people, and you have a business where it focuses on mental health, but also getting to the root of the problem so you can solve the problem. You are very concrete and hard in a brick wall, very business. Yes, I said it about you. And I like to be in the nitty gritty, and I like to set up programs from the ground up and start that as far as efficiency is concerned. But I'm going to move into our next topic. So my question to y'all is, are you pricing based on fear or value? And Lord, if we get into this value topic again, that's all I got to say. But are you pricing based on fear or value? Or should it be both?
Once I read the book, The $1 Million Consultant,
Okay.
he says everything you do should be value-based.
Okay.
Value-based pricing.
How do you determine value?
Okay. How much am I saving the client? How much would the client generate from my services? Or something else that I can put a price tag and dollarize it.
Okay.
So there's value. Because when I talk to them, hey, he said, this advice right here has earned you $1 billion. So my $1 million or my $2 million invoice shouldn't matter to you, because it made you so much money. Or if you were having a problem, it was costing you $20 million, and I reduced it down to $5 million. And I'm saying, like, hey, you still should give my $2 million, because I saved you that $10 million that you didn't have to.
So when you're writing up a contract, is it a percentage based, or is it just just an amount? So that's what I'm asking. So like you said, okay, they made this much, then it's this, and they made this much, then it's this. Are you writing your contracts based on a percentage of how much that person is making? Or
No.
you just have a set price?
Just have a set price.
Okay.
Based upon the value that I'm perceiving that I would give the client.
So when it's an ongoing contract, do you recommend having a percentage based on what they're earning if you're providing that service?
I recommend they have a retainer,
Okay.
so they can always have that type of information on an ongoing basis. In the retainer, it'd be me more affordable sometimes, because I'd be handling a whole lot of different things for them,
Okay.
rather than just dealing on one project.
That makes sense. Okay. You
you
had
gotta
no
say?
input? Are you serious?
No, I do value-based pricing as well too. So mine is not disclaimer. There are a lot of business coaches and life coaches out there that love to tie that their value is I'm going to help you make X amount of dollars. That is not everybody's value retainer. Okay? I don't have to help you make money. However, the intangibles are what's going to help you make the tangibles. That's what I always like to tell people. So your confusion, your overwhelm, your low confidence, your poor strategies or non-existent strategy, that is the value that I'm bringing to help you be able to make the tangible money, right? My value is not tied to, oh, you're going to make $50,000 this year. First of all, I can't guarantee that.
Right.
Second of all, I don't know your work ethic until we start working with each other. So for me to try to promise that, no, it's a red flag. And if you see anybody doing that, it's a red flag. Do not do that. Do not book them.
So have your price, what your price is, regardless of what you think or what think or not think
Well,
they're going to
here's
make.
my thing. So I'll further explain, which I wanted to say this in the other episode, but it's fine. I'll talk about it here. So here's my...
Before you do that, keep that thought. Please hold it.
Okay.
We're going to move into our last segment, and we're going to go into that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because we got to see how time skills, y'all. All right.
Okay.
Better save your money, cause nobody gon' save you. Watching out for friends just in case they might play you. Talking down a Baton Rouge, make you feel disgusting. Dreadlock inside the well, life can get tangled. Mike the money. Mike the money. Mike the money. I'm making money, Mike the.
Welcome back to Mike the Money. We are here with your weekly episode discussing how to start your business the Mike the Money way. So let's talk about going from idea to income. I feel like that came from me. How do you know if your idea is profitable?
It has to solve a problem.
Okay. What kind of problem?
A problem that people are willing to pay for a solution on.
Sounds like a rich folks problem.
No, people have problems, all kind of problems.
Yeah, but
Lonely people,
everybody don't want their problems solved.
Lonely people want to have company. Poor people want to be rich.
Okay.
Stressed people want to have relief.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to find the problem that you can solve, and that's where you go at.
And you know, I've heard that a lot, like over the years that I've been in business, or I've seen successful business owners, and they always say that you have to have a solution to somebody's problem. And I guess, for example, the medical industry, one of the most profitable industries in the world, people always gonna be sick, So that's just one example of solving a problem, and it doesn't even have to be to that extent. But if you're in a community that has you see an issue. Say, hey, how can I have a business that can serve this community, that can help their issue, and that I can make a profit off of it? Just ask yourself those questions. It's like analyzing the situation early.
Yeah. So usually, and I forget what like the 5 categories are, but usually in marketing, there's considered like 5 categories of business where you could potentially find and solve profitable problems. And usually those problems are going to be centered around relationships, health, wealth,
Sex.
I said relationships.
Well, no.
She share relationships.
What's
Relationships.
the
other one? Because I'm curious.
What did I say? Now you maybe forget. Relationships, health, wealth. What is the other 2? Finances. That's wealth. I can't remember the last 2, but it's like 5 of them. And they say that most problems fall up under those 5 categories. And if you have something that falls up under that category, more than likely you can find a group of people that you can serve and solve their problem for those things.
What does like the makeup industry fall up under? Because it's not like health and stuff. It's not that.
It can be health.
I'm saying, is it mental well-being? Is that it?
It's significance.
That's not true.
Well, people.
Ooh, weird.
That's not true.
It's significance. That's one of the human needs. The 6 human needs. That's what most people, they have a human need.
But I'm saying makeup wouldn't follow up under that.
Okay, the people don't want to look ugly.
Why did you say insignificance? Though?
No, I said significance.
I
thought you said insignificance. I was like, what?
First of all, don't do too much.
No, significance.
Significance, not insignificance.
I don't know where y'all got the end from. I said
I
significant.
don't know. Your tongue was lazy or something.
Oh, it must be my accent then.
Maybe so. I don't
Fix
know.
it.
But
Fix it, Jesus.
so yeah, makeup. I think out of those categories, probably wellness can go up under that category.
Okay.
Because when you think about people looks, like you said, some people have certain things that they don't like about themselves. So I think it just depends on how you want to categorize it. Because if you have somebody who is going, like, say they trying to get stretch marks removed,
Right.
that still falls up under some form. You gonna rub your
Bro, I get so many
it
right now.
still
It's
falls
so
under some
bad.
form of makeup because it's going to probably fall up under like.
How did she look at you and say stretch mark?
Cause I rubbed my belly.
I didn't look at her and say stretch marks.
Okay.
I just happened to say stretch marks, and when I said it, she rubbed her belly.
I got a bunch of them. They not pretty at all. Anyway.
You can do like a remove, like there's a certain technique where you can do like a removal that would probably fall up under like aesthetics or like something
Okay,
like
that
that.
makes
You know what I'm saying? And so even with makeup, you can do permanent makeup, which falls up under aesthetics. You know what I'm saying? So it just
I could
depends.
fall on to be loved.
You what?
To be loved.
It could depend on what it is.
Yeah, that's one of
That's
those
why I say
needs.
like perspective matters.
Yeah.
So there's so many, like you could take a piece of something and depending on what this person's problem is and what angle is coming from, it could fall in a different category, if that makes sense. No? Why are you looking at me?
No,
I'm
agree
just
with
looking.
you. I really agree with you because you have to.
Something about, why you
Oh.
looking at me like, why you looking at
Cause
me
he
like?
ready to argue. You know, he be buffing up
no.
over there like ready to. I'm like, man, you don't
I'm
sit
just
down,
talking.
sorry.
It's just a talk show. I'm just talking.
You already
Okay.
said makeup was insignificant, so I ain't trying
He
to.
did. He definitely said.
I didn't say no insignificant.
Should passion or money come first? And what if multiple people already do the thing that you're looking to do? I had this conversation with somebody today.
Let's
So
talk
what did you
about
tell
it.
him?
Yeah.
What did I tell? Okay, so he was looking to start a business to help parents with their students, with their children who are interested in going to college, trying to understand like the college process and stuff like that. And he was like, well, I just see so many people like doing that already. And I'm like, dude, it's 8.3 billion people on the planet. Like you could serve somebody. They not able to serve all these people. Even with what you do. And he was telling me about all this background experience that he has. And I was like, there you go. That's why you should be doing it right there. Because you just said what makes you stand out from all the other people that are doing it. And I said, even too, I said, now you even have a new place where you can step into that hasn't been mastered yet because given the current administration, we now have degrees that are rendered not professional. So how do you help these children and their parents?
I was just about to say, I feel that's what I was saying. I think passion should come first because
Yes.
when you're passionate about something, my thing is what comes from the heart reaches the heart. With the right group of people and the right, audience, you can impact millions. You can start off doing, and I'll just use this guy as an example. He's a profound speaker. I think they call him E or something. He started off
E.T.
he started off being consistent, speaking. He
He was just on YouTube every day.
Exactly, and it's
Yeah.
something he's passionate about. Mind of Mine is one of the most widely known speakers in the world and is highly successful. So it really don't matter if the money is there. If you start off with a passion, I feel like you can do anything.
Well, you always start out with a passion because if you do it just for the money, when the money does not quickly materialize,
You're done with it.
you're done with it. But if you do it for the passion, you can always find a way. You can find your niche, your creativity to make that money come to you.
Well, we're going to wrap up this segment from idea to income. Having good conversations, though. I'm really enjoying this.
This podcast or broadcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, health, tax, or professional advice. Always consult a licensed professional for specific advice related to your situation. Thank you.
One soul.